Amy and I did a overnight trip to the southern Blue Ridge Parkway, staying at the Pisgah Inn, and we did a couple of really great day hikes in the Shining Rocks area that are shown on this map in red. We also drove down to see Looking Glass Falls down below the huge Looking Glass Rock. We wanted to hike to Chestnut Falls and Courthouse Falls, but the road was closed, so we drove up to the Blue Ridge Parkway and the trailhead for the Skinny Dip Falls, which is on the right at the Looking Glass Rock overlook. A short way along the trail, we passed this Indian marker tree that was bent to indicate the spring down to the right. And we passed these pink turtle heads, beautiful flowers. The trail is only a little over a mile, and the falls and pools are located at the bottom of this stairway in a gorge. And here's our first view of the falls from the bridge. And here's the swimming hole. Kind of turquoise, perfectly clear. Amy?
It said the rock is really shining like a looking glass when it's wet, but it's not wet.
Yep, this is Looking Glass Rock off the Blue Ridge Parkway. I've rock climbed a little on it, but not the steepest part there for sure. And here's a still photograph, telephoto of Looking Glass Rock. After the hike, we drove to the Pisgah Inn where we had a reservation. Our room is at the top right. Here's the view from our room at the Mount Pisgah Inn. Absolutely amazing. All the rooms have essentially the same view. Right there is Looking Glass Rock in the mist. And nothing but mountains out there. Looking kind of southeast, I guess. Here's a photograph of that wonderful view, nothing but nature. And we had some bellinis on our balcony, followed by a takeout dinner from the restaurant, trout and veggie burger and french fries. Here's the view from our balcony as the sun started to set and the mountains turned misty blue. And then later on, we had incredibly a full moon here rising to the east and then high over up in the sky. After a delivered continental breakfast the next morning, we took a walk on the Mountains to Sea trail right below the hotel and saw some great wildflowers, including these either sunflowers or coreopsis, I'm not sure which. And we also saw quite a few of these pale jewelweeds, the yellow ones, and then later we saw the orange ones, which are called spotted jewelweeds. After that short hike, we drove to the Avesta Gap Balsam Mountain parking area near the Shining Rocks Wilderness and did a loop hike as shown on this map. The big dark mountain there is Sam Knob. And we're heading down to a meadow above it. I'm going to make a loop trip below the Avesta Gap parking lot. Lots of flowers, goldenrod, and lots of different kinds. Actually strange for this late in the summer. We're headed for the falls on Flat Laurel Creek, indicated by the red arrow between Sam Mountain on the right and Little Sam on the left. Trail is very good, particularly in the beginning. And along the trail, we saw lots of butterflies, as these pictures will show, including this one that has spots that kind of look like eyes.
You don't have to.
Lots of butterflies.
I really like that thistle.
Flowers in the meadow below Sam Knob. Little Sam Knob there. And Sam Knob. There's Little Sam Knob, and we're just about to Flat Laurel Creek, which we're going to go down and see the falls on Flat Laurel Creek, and then we'll go back up that way and make a loop back to the parking lot. And looking back to the north, to our right as we're hiking, there's Sam's Knob. Flat Laurel Creek. Amy's crossing over. Beautiful creek. And the falls are just down there a ways, all below Sam's Knob. We stopped for lunch at Flat Laurel Creek. I'm eating a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Amy has this gourmet sandwich, a veggie burger, fresh tomato, and lettuce on Dave's bread. Looks really good. You gonna give me some? Can I have some? We continued to see butterflies around our lunch spot, and then here's some video of the creek below where we ate lunch.
I did pretty well coming over, but she did even better.
Yeah. Flat Laurel Creek. And Sam Knob up above. After lunch, we walked down the creek to the falls and saw this mushroom along the way. We first went down to the creek for views toward the top of the big falls, with some small falls shown behind Amy here and in the pictures that follow. Those are the upper falls of Flat Laurel Creek, and just a very minor falls compared to what is just down below. Falls of Flat Laurel Creek. This is the highest of the big ones. Just an incredible waterfall. Dropping into a pool down there. Amy and I are next going to right there. Below that, we saw a guy way down there, but he says it was near that rock. But to go beyond that, you really have to have rock climbing equipment, he said. Okay. Here's Amy coming down a really steep access to view the falls. We'll have more pictures of it in a minute. An incredible drop and lots of white. After the steep climb down to the big falls, here are still photographs looking first upstream and then downstream, and then some videos looking both ways. And here's the highlight of the day. The falls on Flat Laurel Creek. They don't even have a real name, but incredible. That's a big, beautiful drop there. And then continues to drop way down there. And beyond that rock, we ran into a guy and he says there's big falls on below that. So several hundred feet, 500 or more feet of dropping water here. Flat Laurel Creek. And Sam's Knob is really behind the trees up there. You can see a point of it to the left. After the falls, we headed back up the creek and continued the loop back to the trailhead and saw these beautiful balsam mountain gentians. See, this is probably the wettest trail I've ever seen. There's water in the trail at least half the time. Creeks, actually. And we said it should be called a creek instead of a trail.